Hi, Chef Joe with Healthy Kids Inc. Today we're going to show you an alternative to the Thanksgiving turkey. We're actually going to roast a small chicken here. This is about a 4-pound bird. Anywhere from 3.5 to 4 pounds are perfect for this application. It's also free range and organic. It's always important when sourcing your ingredients, especially chicken, that you do it in an ethically way as you possibly can, and it's not only going to taste better, but it's better in the long run for the birds. So the first thing you want to do is not what you typically think of when it comes to taking a chicken from the store. You don't want to rinse it off in the sink, and the reason for that being is all the splashback from rinsing your bird off can actually cross-contaminate your entire kitchen, and you may not think about that. So the real key to killing any potential germs or bacteria on the chicken is actually roasting it to the right temperature. Internal temp of chicken and the thighs and the thickest part of the breast needs to come to 165 degrees, and the juices will run clear when it's done. So just keep that in mind, and I'll remind you of that as we go on. A few of the basic things you'll need: some salt, some pepper, a little olive oil, a little bit of butter. We're going to use some fresh herbs. I've got some lemon here, and then in our roasting pan we have carrots, celery, onion, and some potatoes seasoned in olive oil, salt, and pepper, just kind of all tossed together, roughly chopped. So they're all about the same size, and we're using those actually as our roasting rack in the bottom of our roasting pan, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. So one of the very first things you want to do is take the skin on that's covering the breast and take your fingers and kind of separate inside of there. If you're a little bit squeamish, you can use gloves for this, but there's a reason for this. This is going to help the skin to get extra crispy. And there's another reason. We're going to create some separation here because we're actually going to put some of this butter on the inside, and that's going to help to self-baste the chicken as it roasts. So we're going to put some of this butter, tuck it up under the skin. You can kind of smash it down. Alright, so we're sliding some of these slices of butter under the skin, in between the skin and the breast. And what that'll do is actually help to make this a moist and flavorful bird in the long run. The next thing that you're going to do is you want to season the cavity. It's very important. We've already removed any of the innards from the inside. So I'll flip that around so you can see inside of there. You want to season it pretty liberally with, we're using sea salt. Okay. We're going to do the same thing to the outside of the bird. I'm going to show you one of the biggest chef tricks you've ever seen. You've always seen in cooking shows or in movies or anytime you see anybody cooking on film that they hold their hands up really high when they're seasoning and falls all over and coats evenly. If I hold it down here like this and do this, you're going to end up with a little mound of salt, and it's going to be too concentrated. So you really want to do it from up high, and this goes for anything. If you're seasoning steaks or anything like that, the higher the better. And it may look like we're using a lot of salt here, and we kind of are, but that's going to ensure a nice flavorful bird, and you're not going to really ingest all of the salt. It's really going to help the skin to get crispy, pull out some of the moisture in the bird, and make it nice and flavorful for you. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure that the bird is nice and compact. By making it compact like this, you see, by crossing the legs back and tucking the wings in, it's all one uniform shape. And also plumps up the breast to ensure more even cooking. So the way to do that is normally by trussing. If you don't have string, we're going to use a little bit of fishing line today. You could even use toothpicks to kind of stick everything together. They also even sell nowadays in stores cooking bands, which are just these synthetic bands that don't melt in the oven, and those are great too. It's a great new product. So what we want to do now is I'm actually going to tuck the wings in under the leg, and something you can do here is actually make an incision in the skin. Just kind of poke a hole. It doesn't have to be very big, and you can tuck your wings in just like that. And it's okay if they don't stay perfectly. It's going to do the job. Stick that in there, and you can use a toothpick to hold this. next thing is you want about 3 feet of string or twine, and you want to slide them first under the rear of the bird. Kind of want to make sure that it's spaced out evenly. And the next thing you want to do is cross them over, and you want to make a bit of a figure 8 almost. And what that does is that pulls the legs up tight together. And you want to take your remaining string, you can tie it off like so. And what that does is that shows that it's a nice uniform bird. You can just tie a simple knot to keep everything nice and tight together. Now the one last thing I'm going to do is actually take half of a lemon. Well, in this case we're actually going to use the whole lemon, and I'm going to put these lemon slices on the inside of the bird. Alright, so now we're just sprinkling some of the thyme leaves all over the bird. Thyme is my favorite herb to use with poultry. So we're going to flip that around. We've also got some thyme sprigs, some rosemary sprigs, and some sage leaves inside of the cavity of the bird, as well as our lemons. You could use oranges or any other kind of citrus fruit, and that will kind of perfume the bird as it cooks. Alright. Last little bit of seasoning. And just a quick drizzle of olive oil over top to finish it off. We're going to lift it. Nestle it inside of our roasting pan. It's all trussed together. A little bit of seasoning. Alright, now it's going to go into the oven at 450 degrees for 25 minutes. Then we're going to reduce the heat to 400 degrees and finish cooking it for 35 to 45 minutes until the internal temperature in the thighs here and here reach 165 degrees and the juices run clear. At that time our vegetables will be roasted really nicely. And that's all there is to it. Alright, so you can see we've pulled our chicken out of the oven. I'm going to test it with the thermometer real quick, and you want to check it in the thigh. And it should quickly come up to temp. You're looking for 165, so you can pull it out anywhere between 155 and 160 degrees and it will continue cooking. I can also see that the juices are running clear from where I've stuck the thermometer in. And if the thighs are cooked, then the rest of the bird is cooked. It's nice and golden brown. Our vegetables are nice and roasted. So now all there is to it is to carve it up and eat.